How you doing, YouTube? Will from Will Development, and this is my 307th weekly update. Good news, I finished the stone experiment video. It is uploaded. It is just set as a private video right now. My intention was to have it done Wednesday, or actually over the last weekend, and then Wednesday be able to work on the Stone Masterclass series. What ended up happening, I did get it done on the weekend, and then what happened was Monday, I actually kind of just kept looking, and this is one of those things, one of those sort of life things, right? I was just perusing through the forums, and I was able to find those comments about the negative repercussions of concrete vibrators, especially in reference to stone making. What had happened was I was only able to find 2 or 3 of the comments that I had originally seen that sort of sparked this whole thing, and I just could not find the post with the really strong opinions about it and some of the explanations that were put out too. And then thankfully somebody said, like, hey, here's how you search in the, just in this page. And I was like, oh, perfect. So I spent like 5-10 minutes and I found it, and I found all those comments, and I went, oh man, now I gotta add them to the video, which would normally be pretty simple, but I also sort of rewatched my video and I was like, sometimes the background music is a little higher than I would like it, so I went a step back, added all the stuff, took out because originally I just put in place of those comments, essentially just little notes where like, somebody had said this, I wish I could have found that comment, that sort of thing, and I replaced those with the actual comments, so the overall quality was better too the second round, because I was, I leveled out I mixed the sounds a little bit better, which is always a good thing, right? And so it's a better video in that regard. I think one of the things I want to note on that video is, and this is again one of those life things that I was sort of bringing up, it's at some point you just kind of got to do it. And I'm one of those people where if I just keep sitting around and working on something, oh, I forgot to say this, oh, I should have worded that better, oh, this, oh, that, and I'm going to end up having to go back and re-record a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't want to do that, not because I don't want a high-quality video, but because I've said everything I've really wanted to say in the video, and that's the bottom line, and the results sort of speak for themselves. And I guess the reality is I could do one whole video just talking about the results and diving deep into them and reasons why this happened and that sort of thing. And I don't want to go through all that. I might do that later on if I get enough sort of feedback from this and people want to discuss it a lot. I may sit down and make sort of a comments, reactions sort of video to it, but as it sits right now, the video is about 24 or 25 minutes long. I was planning on sort of making it a 3-parter, but I decided just keep it to 20-something minutes, and I'll add timestamps, which I did. And so you can actually, when you go to view the video, whenever I release it, which will be in the coming weeks, it might even be this weekend, I haven't quite decided. It all depends on how much I can get done on that masterclass video, which I have all the footage for. I just need to put it all together in a cohesive manner, and that will definitely have to be multiple releases, at least 2 videos, I'm thinking, because if not, it's probably going to be like a 45-minute video, and I just don't want people to have to sit through that. And it's not that the information's not important, it's just there's a lot to go over, and there's some stuff I just don't want to speed through, so it's and those things will obviously add time to the video. So in that regard, I would rather just release it in a 2-part thing and then a 1-part if somebody wants to watch that whole, 40-minute video or 20 minutes, whatever it ends up being. I would rather them be able to sort of pick through it a little easier in that respect, which, I guess I could always just timestamp it. A lot of these things are up in the air. I'm learning as I'm going, as always. And I will decide what I feel is the best, and it could be the wrong decision. I reserve that right. As with all things, I reserve the right to be wrong. New information comes out with everything. I'm a very black and white person, but I understand most of the world is in gray. So that's where we're at with those two videos, so I'm excited to be releasing that soon, and hopefully people respond in a more, I don't want to use the word supportive, I just hope people aren't too negative about it and too, well, rude is honestly the word I would probably pick about it. Like for instance, one of the things I know I forgot was essentially the point of a concrete vibrator is to remove the macroscopic air bubbles from the mix, and it's like the sciencey way of saying you're getting rid of the big air pockets, and you don't want to over vibrate it, or else you get rid of the tiny air pockets that exist. But really, the only reason you want those tiny air pockets is to mitigate damage while freezing, because as temperatures drop and it freezes, the concrete itself will freeze even after it's cured. And if there aren't those microscopic air pockets to sort of relieve some of the stress of it shrinking, it'll crack. Really not a problem for stones, but it's something that I didn't actually mention in the video, but it is mentioned in the resources that I posted. So it's one of those things where if people come up and they're like, hey, whoa, this, that, and the other, I can just, refer to them to research that I hopefully quoted or understood correctly. I reserve that right, too, to have read something and not understood it properly. So with all that being said, this week's training went well. Monday was squatting, deadlifting, and I did a pyramid style, but with the reps. And my plan was to go up to 5 reps and then go down back to 1. And essentially the reason I'm doing this is because I'm training my body to get better at not only singles, which is obviously just 1 rep, right? But also to get used to to get a little extra volume in with a particular weight. So I worked up to a weight where 1 rep felt kind of heavy. Like, man, I don't feel like I could do more than 2 or 3 of this. And I said, I'm going to do 5 of it now. And so basically you do 1 set of 1, set of 2, set of 3, set of 4, set of 5. And the plan was to go back down and do 4, 3, 2, 1. Unfortunately, with the way times were going on Monday, I have this eye thing going on. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. You kind of can, how it looks like bruised here. I had something like scratching my eye. I felt it on Sunday, and Monday I put the contacts in and just kind of kept going. And then I had to actually take them out halfway through the day because it was just so irritating. It's not even really painful, it's just irritating. And I think because I was rubbing my eye so much because it's uncomfortable, it actually like bruised my eyelid, which is what you see there. And then I just kind of went glasses for a few days there. But I couldn't drive on Monday because my eye was so sensitive to the light that my fiance drove, and I actually just kept my eyes closed the entire trip because it was bright. It was just hurting my eyes so much and giving me like, it was painful. That was the only painful part of the whole thing. I'm good now, other than this bruise, which I assume will be gone in a week or 2. I may try to do glasses only after I get back from the gym on Saturday. I don't like to train in glasses. They slip around and stuff. I usually end up, if I have to wear them, I take them off before I do anything because it's just, I hate flopping around. I don't like things on my face and like touching my ears and stuff. I'm weird. That's usually why I keep my hair really short on the top, because I don't like stuff touching my ears. I just don't like it. I think it just comes from kind of growing up in the swamps and mosquitoes around the face all the time. And so I worked up to 290. Yeah, sorry, I digress. Worked up to the 290. I did a first set of 1, set of 2, 3, 4, and then I got up to the 5th set of 5. And then just looking at the time as it was, we had to leave a little late. I was just like, let me just go straight to deadlifting. And I worked up to a set of 2 on 405, I think. I think somebody goaded me into that. Maybe that was last week. I don't remember exactly what I did on Monday for deadlifts. Monday feels like a blur. It feels like it was so long ago, even though this week kind of flew by. But it went well. And then Tuesday was pressing. And I ended up just going up to a sets of 160. I was just doing singles at 160. And I did like 3 singles of just strict pressing. And I haven't done any push pressing lately. I was trying to give my body a little bit of a break from that. I'm probably going to start reincorporating it next week. And then did some incline bench, just with just like 145 with a really high incline barbell incline press. And I'm going to start doing some more of those. I really feel like I should be doing more of those. It's a really good accessory for pressing, and it was pretty low impact in terms of everything. Yes, I'm tensing my whole body when I do it, but it's sort of, because I have a support on my back, I can sort of force myself to stay a little more rigid and not really lean back too much, even though I try on purpose to lean back a little bit extra and really squeeze the hips forward. When I press, it's still good to sort of work that plane of motion right here where there's less big muscles to incorporate, so it's sort of forcing the smaller muscles to get stronger. That's sort of the thing. Yes, the chest is obviously involved, but it was close grip too, by the way, to mimic the actual pressing that I do, because my press grip is around there-ish. Wednesday off, obviously editing the video. Thursday was squatting and deadlifting again, and I wanted to do 315 for some rep work, so to speak. I ended up doing the same pyramid thing, but this time I said I'm only go up to 3, and I'm going to go do 2 and then 1. And if you sort of map it out that way, essentially I still did 2 sets of 2, which I did last week, and I still did 1 set of 3, which I also did last week, speaking specifically to 315. But then I did 2 additional reps on top of that, so I got some extra volume with that same weight. And instead of only having 3 first lifts, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 first lifts instead of just 3, so 2 extra first reps, which is really what gets you good at doing the 1 rep maxes. In a sense, it's sort of the same idea of doing like 8 sets of 2 instead of 2 sets of 8. You're doing the same exact poundage and volume in either case, but one is going to prepare you more for doing that single heavy work. And part of the reason I'm doing this is because, well, it's something different, but it's also an easy way to get some extra reps and potentially hit a new rep PR with a particular weight. Both total reps and with a single set, as was the case for me with the 290. I haven't hit 290 for 5 in a very long time, so it felt good to do that. And it was the same thing. I think I did 290 for like sets of 3 the other week, but the total amount of reps with that particular weight is a lot higher. So it's an easy way to get a little extra volume in, and also practice that first rep, which is usually the most shocking rep. Usually if you can do a weight for, let's say 5 reps, a lot of times you'll find that first set or that first rep is kind of like, ooh, I don't know, and then you go and do your second rep or your second set, especially. I've found that it's like, oh, okay, this isn't that bad with the same weight, it's your body sort of goes, okay, that's what I need to do, and it does it better, I should say. And then deadlifts, I just did a quick deadlift session after squatting yesterday, just because I was that third rep at 315 was, ooh, and those reps of the sets of 2 and then 1 after were still like, oh my god, I'm beat, I'm not used to this. And so I just did pulled singles and just went up to 405 and pulled it for 2 singles. And then just left. I was like, cool, that's enough, And again, the reason most people would recommend doing deadlifts maybe once a week at the most, but that's like a full session. When you look at when you look at the total volume that I'm doing of deadlifts throughout the week, it would basically amount to 1 good deadlift session. And you could make the argument that you probably should do this session in 1 shot, but so far it's working for me, so, stay tuned, I guess. And then tonight, didn't have a lot of time, had to leave early So when I got in, I got right to work and did some pressing with the axle, and was feeling pretty good. That's kind of part of the reason why I'm going to put some more incline bench into my life. So it's feeling really good, really strong. I was able to do 155 for 3 beltless, and I felt really strong there. And I was planning on just doing 160, but I said, screw it, go to 165, put the belt on, and I just did 2 sets of 2 there, because time was a big factor. So I said, all right, let's just call it here, and I'll do a bunch of accessory work tomorrow for both pressing and some back work. Probably do some rows. I haven't done rows in a while. Rows, RDLs, and then probably some chin-ups, pull-ups, that kind of thing, and then some shoulder work, and we'll call it a day. Luckily, I haven't had to do much accessory work for squats yet. I'm going to go for some heavier weight and hopefully get a painless PR. Next week, we'll see what happens with squats. I'll try it on Monday, and I'll probably go for 325 or something like that. Very, very conservative, little 10-pound jump, and we'll see how it feels. If that feels good, then I might go for more. I've hit 350 recently, but it was painful, and, well, that's all there is to it. I would rather be in less pain at this point, and that's something I'll discuss next week when I'm not doing a 17-minute update that week. But I feel like I had some extra stuff to talk about, so I hope I didn't ramble on too much and bore anybody too greatly. As always, thanks for watching, and look forward to the stone experiment, well, the stone vibrator experiment. Actually, I called it the concrete vibrator experiment. Coming out very, very soon. Like I said, it's uploaded, just got to release it. And a lot of that will depend on how much I can get done this weekend with the Atlas Stone Masterclass series. So look forward to that. If you don't, then what's your excuse?